Now, before you season your brisket, you're going to want to trim it up. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So it'll cook even. Flaps like this that are sticking out, just take it off. It'll overcook, it'll never be good. You can put it to the side and cook it since it's small and it'll be done earlier. Get rid of this. Alright. You see the flat grain runs this way. You want to get rid of this fat right here that's on the bottom. It won't do any good. It just drips down into the pit. Does absolutely nothing for the brisket. See? Briskets, the time it takes to cook them depends on how thick they are. It doesn't go by weight. That's an old myth. That time by weight thing works for turkeys because it's calculated for turkeys, so don't go by that with beef. Alright. It's not that much fat on that side, but here's the fat cap. You can see how far that sticks out. About there. Okay, we're cutting into the brisket now. Don't be scared of cutting into the brisket too much or taking too much fat off. That's almost impossible to do. Now this fat cap's about an inch thick. You don't really need more than a 1/4 inch of fat on them. The fat doesn't go into the meat. It just bastes the top of the meat and drips down the sides. And you can't render this beef fat out completely. So a thin fat cap, make it cook faster. It'll be better product. Anyway, you get the idea. I'm going to keep going till I get it shaved down to about a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch is okay. You don't need more than a 1/4. And we'll shave a little bit over here. That hard stuff on the top. Alright. This is the point. This is the good stuff right here. This part, the rest of it's flat. This is a huge flap on this brisket. This part right here is going to overcook where it's thin. So we're going to go ahead and trim that off. And we'll cook it in separate in the pit and have it to snack on while we're doing the rest of it. Alright. That's it. I like to shave it down to a 1/4 inch if I can. And here's another part where it's got a little hangover. We'll trim that off. And that's it. It's ready for seasoning. For that, start on the bottom side. Next step is seasoning the brisket. I like to do this prep 12 hours ahead of the time I'm going to start cooking. Give time for the seasoning to meld in. And I use my rub. I don't put salt in my rub. I put the salt on separate. So, first thing you do is get a good, generous coating of rub. Doesn't have to be super thick. I think the time it's on there is more important than how much. You don't need to put a lot. It's one thing you need to remember about seasoning any food is most people either overdo or underdo it, but they mostly overdo. Now, this is an 18-pound brisket. Before I trimmed it, probably trimmed a couple of pounds. To get the salt perfect, use a 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt per pound. I've gotten where I just do it by eye. I know what it's supposed to look like. Doesn't take a lot of salt, but a little extra salt won't hurt it. Flip her over. Wash my hand again. Start on the other side with the rub and the salt. Alright, put some salt. Alright, rub it in. That's it. Then put it in the refrigerator, uncovered, and that way the air would help dry it out and draw some more moisture out, making a richer beef taste. Okay, now we're ready to cook barbecue. You see I've got a fire started. And just so you know, you have to have the right heat on your fire to get the right smoke. I use natural mesquite lump charcoal, and I use pieces of hardwood, pecan usually, for the smoke. This is the hottest burning charcoal. You need a hot burning fire. You want your smoke to be kind of blue-white. If it's black, your fire is not hot enough. And if the smoke is pure white, then it's too hot. But we're going to start putting our meat on here. This thing is huge. You don't really want to fit. That's why I got to get a new pit. And we'll take all the little side chunks and lay them out. And that's it. Now, we're going to put the thermometer probe into the thick part of the meat, into the middle. And then we're going to close her up. Yep, that done got a little warm. Grab it with something, chill my hand a little bit. Throw us a little chunk of pecan on there and start smoking. Now we got the temperature probe over here. When you do brisket, you'll want to cook it until it reaches 205 degrees at least. I like to go 207, and that'll be when it's at its most tender. You take it off then. But remember, can't really see it at night in the camera, but you can see a blue tint to the smoke if you look at it through the light. That knows you got your fire at the right temperature. And then we just leave it. Don't open the pit to check on it. Rely on that thermometer. If you don't have a remote thermometer and you have to stick one in, then let it go at least 7 hours before you check it. It should be past the stall by then. Once you reach like 169, you're out of the stall. And then you just got to watch it and keep the temperature from 250 to 275. 275 is the best temperature if you can maintain it. And that'll be it until we're cooked. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. Damn, that thing looks beautiful. Ooh, smells beautiful. See if I can snap the thermometer out of it real quick. We'll see how these forks slide into that meat. Ooh, yeah. Like real easy. Well, that is the product of 12 hours of work. I think it's beautiful. It looks burnt because it's supposed to look burnt, but it ain't burnt. Oh God, can't wait to eat this thing. Anyhow, That is G's Barbecue and Kill It and Grill It. How to do barbecue brisket. Real simple. It just takes work.